Hi, my name is DelmarshaeWalker. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a great day. Just in case you hear noise, it is raining here, and so you might be able to hear it, I'm not sure. But what I wanted to say is to parents, make sure you're praying for your kids. Make sure you're involved in their lives as far as what they're doing, especially when it comes to social media. Make sure you have an understanding of what they're actually watching, and kind of talk to, like, once you see this type of stuff they're interested in, talk to them to try to get an idea of why you like watching this type of stuff. If they're on TikTok and they're doing challenges, what make you want to do this challenge? What about that challenge? Just kind of get an idea of how your child thinks and how your child processes information. Excuse me. I had mentioned before in the past that I don't have TikTok, so I really don't know how it works. But you know, with social media, some people post either what they're doing or what someone else is doing on Instagram stories. So I do excuse me. So I do see some of it. And in the video I posted a while back, I was kind of talking about different challenges and how, you know, who's actually starting these challenges and why. So I want to share part of that video with you now. What I want to talk about in this video is some things that I have been seeing on social media, especially when it comes to challenges. Sometimes you might see a challenge and it might seem harmless or no big deal to you, but when you look at the bigger picture, it can be more to it than what it looks like. I'm sorry, my voice is going in and out. I don't have TikTok, but sometimes on Instagram, I'm able to see people TikTok based on what other people post on their stories. And so it's one challenge that I have been seeing where it would be a parent going to their child, asking them for assistance in fighting someone. It's like, oh, I'm going to go fight my neighbor. They have a daughter your age, and just in case their daughter jumps in, I need you to help. Or they have a son your age, and just in case their son jumps in, you need to help them. Like, I know I'm only getting part. I don't know where the TikTok started, like who started that trend or that challenge, or what was their purpose of starting that challenge. Sometimes, you know, because like I know this world is good and evil, and sometimes I see things different than what someone else might see it as being harmless or being no big deal. But it's like, just say for instance, I wanted to do a survey, or you know, I had some friends that I wanted to do a survey, and I was like, I wonder how many people will choose this brand over that brand. And then you might just, you know, put a survey out there, which is your favorite, this or that, to kind of get a synopsis of what people may eat, you know, based on the demographics and everything like that. I feel, my personal opinion, I feel like that is what's been done with social media. So sometimes a harmless TikTok or a harmless challenge or a harmless this gets out there, and sometimes I'm on my level of thinking, I'm thinking, okay, are they doing that to see how many people will engage in it, how many people will do it, how many people would, you know, would respond to it, how many kids will respond to it, and that kind of give them information to move to the next step. And the reason that I feel that way, and the reason excuse me, that particular challenge I don't like is like I said, I don't know the full scope as each individual, so I don't know what conversations you have had with your kids, you are having with your kids, or you're kind of, oh, that was a joke, you know, we don't fight. The reason I feel like that is because it was an incident here. I'm in Orlando, and a while back, and I would post the video down below so you can watch it yourself, just in case you haven't seen it. And here in Orlando, it was a 10-year-old girl. Her mother got into an argument with another woman, and it was a gun in the mother's backpack or book bag, and she threw it. Her daughter picked it up, pulled out the gun, and shot this person in the head and killed them. The mother's on charges for murder as well as the daughter. So this happened, like I said, a while back. And now I'm seeing these TikToks coming up where they're asking the question, come help me fight. And I feel like when you're as a parent and you're in a situation, if you can't handle that situation, you're in a situation with another adult, if you can't handle that situation, don't ask your kids. Like I said, I know this is a joke, this is a challenge, it's something simple. But you have to understand the mentality of a child. It's not the same mentality as an adult. And when you bring up some of these situations, it's one thing if you're using it as a teachable moment. Hey, I'm seeing this on TikTok. What do you think about it? What do you think fighting is right? Because like I said, a lot of kids and a lot of adults don't have conflict resolution. But you never see a challenge like that. Hey, instead of fighting, let's do this. Hey, instead of fighting, let's talk it out. Where's that challenge? It's always something extremely dangerous or something, that I feel like kids shouldn't be involved in, or that conversation shouldn't, or that joke shouldn't be with kids. And like I said, that's one of the reasons I strongly feel that way, because this child felt that she needed to help her mother. Her mother is fighting, two adults are fighting, and this child felt that she needed to pull out a gun and help defend her mother, which at no point in time that thought should have ever crossed her daughter's mind, especially at the age of 10. Two adults, it's not like her mother is getting jumped on and she's running in there trying to, help physically fight. But to get a gun and have no qualms about pointing it at someone in their head, to their head, and pulling the trigger with no childlike remorse or regret. So that's the things that I feel, that's why I have some problems with some challenges that I be seeing. And I feel like at sometimes every challenge isn't good to follow. Okay, and I also wanted to kind of add on to that why I feel it's very important to speak to your child, regardless of what age. If they're on social media, if they have access to social media, I feel that it's very important to talk to them to kind of get an idea of their mentality. And the reason I think that's very important is because, back on, I don't know if it was back before TikTok started, but I know in the past they had challenges called the choking challenge, and then they also had the fire challenge. I will also share those videos. But before I share those videos, you have to think about the mentality of a child that's willing to choke themselves, or the mentality of a child that's willing to set themselves on fire just because they're seeing someone do it on social media. So what is really going on? Because I always say the devil is after your kids, and I'm serious about that. I'm not saying that to scare you or anything, but just to open your eyes and really see what's going on with kids. And not just in this time, but to the point, because I know when I was growing up, we didn't have social media, but we did something and our parents asked us, well, why did you do that? And we said, well, because our friends did it. They always say, so if your friend jump off a cliff, would you jump also? It's kind of like, think about the things you're doing. Just because you see someone else do it, are you going to just go ahead and do it because it can end up killing you? And so those are the conversations that, unfortunately, that we have to have with our kids now. It's like, you're looking at this object in your hand day in and day out, and you're seeing different challenges. Some are fun, I'm not saying anything wrong with the dancing challenges. And like I said, I don't know what those kind of challenges be going on, but there's nothing wrong with that. But then what will make the children go do these dangerous challenges, to the point that they're not even thinking, hey, this can actually kill me, or hey, I can get hurt, or hey, I can hurt someone else, or this is not a moral thing to do, or this is not right to do, or what would my parents think about it if they knew I was doing this. So it's very important to be mindful, you know, pray for your kids, talk to your kids and everything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show those other two videos with you.
It's called the choking game, or 5 minutes in heaven. It's a dangerous teen trend where adolescents literally choke each other to get a brief high. And a new study by the American Academy of Pediatrics found that a third of physicians surveyed had never even heard of it. Parents Brian and Milani O'Connor first learned about the choking game too late from a nurse in the emergency room the night their 12-year-old son, Evan, died nearly 3 years ago.
She said, could he have been playing the game? And I said, what game? And she said, the game, the choking game.
Evan was found in his Stamford, Connecticut home choked to death, ruled a suicide by the state medical examiner. Evan's parents strongly believe his death was an accident.
He did not mean to hurt himself.
The choking game is often mistaken for suicide. The victim attempts to gain a high or euphoric feeling by temporarily depriving the brain of oxygen. The CDC reports 82 probable choking game-related deaths from 1995 to 2007, while advocacy groups report more than 100 deaths per year between 2005 and 2007. So, what should parents do?
Talk to your kids. Learn from our horrible tragedy that there are kids out there doing it that you couldn't even imagine would.
Now, while not particularly common, it is definitely something that parents and doctors should be aware of, Debbie.
This is so horrendous, and our mother said that teenagers are doing it and the parents don't even know. Are there some warning signs that parents can
There
look
are
for?
a couple of things. So obviously, if you find ropes or ties, plastics around your home, that can be something. If your child has bloodshot eyes or complains of headaches, or worse still, if you see marks around their neck, these are some warning signs that you just need to be able to put two and two together and talk to your child about it.
That's incredible. I mean, who would ever know even to look for that? How can the parent team with the doctor to help look and maybe even address this if they think the teenager's involved in it?
Well, this is one of the points of the survey. While they didn't see particularly high numbers here, what they found was that even the doctors who were aware of this game still weren't talking to their child, patient or teenage patient about it. And we should be clear, the American Academy of Pediatrics is not suggesting that this be incorporated into the visit. But again, if it happens to one child, that's one too many. So both doctors and parents need to know about it.
Absolutely. And do doctors not know because this is a new thing? Is this something that kids have come up with recently?
Well, it is. We're hearing more about it in the recent past, so it is relatively new. But again, you know, teenagers, their job is to test limits and to take risks. This is not something we want them taking a risk with.
Dr. Jen Ashton, thank you so much.
Dangerous dare that could end up in your child's social media feed. Young people setting themselves on fire. And they're taking videos of what happens next. Our Jodianne Thompson joins us live now and has been watching this trend. And I'm wondering, has anybody been seriously hurt by this, Jodianne?
Well, Krista, one person has already died. That happened in New York State. We checked with our local hospitals, and so far, no one has been treated locally, but it is spreading. Some of the videos posted to social media are as recent as just a few hours ago. It's called the Fire Challenge. The hashtag is all over social media like Instagram and Twitter with these videos. In the spirit of fun, people will douse themselves in rubbing alcohol, fingernail polish remover, or hand sanitizer, and then, yes, light it on fire.
We're just going to take this hand cleaner.
To show how dangerous it is, the Overland Park Fire Department imitated the scenario with us today, pouring 40% alcohol hand sanitizer on this shirt, and then...
And it lights off.
Spreads very fast.
And instantly we're at 450 degrees.
If that were your skin, it would be exposed to up to 600 degrees. The longer the skin and clothes are lit, the worse the burn. But it can also burn inside the body.
If they light themselves on fire and they look down and inhale these flames, they're not just going to burn the surface of their body. They're going to suck those flames in their mouth and down their lungs.
These teens are trying to be near a water source to extinguish themselves, but that will not prevent injury.
It is dangerous.
Dr. Austin Lear is a surgeon and sees burn victims on a daily basis and warns that this craze can cause long-term effects and could lead to multiple surgeries.
Second and third degree burns require surgical debridement and removal of those dead layers of skin that are hurt by the burns, and this is followed with skin grafting.
Well, doctors tell us this could be a sign of emotional issues as well, and advise parents to always talk with your children and know what they are seeing or doing online. Krista, back to you.
And then the other part that I wanted to talk about is China. You know, I said it before, China, you know, trying to take over the world. China is, you know, trying to kill everyone with the virus and everything like that. And China is currently buying up farm, well, not currently, they have been buying up farmland, and, you know, they have bought land next to our, one of our Air Force bases. And so, United States is gonna, if China get in war with Taiwan, United States is gonna jump in. United States jump in, all of our allies are gonna do what they need to do to help as well. So the only reason I feel personally, in my opinion, that United States want to jump in is because of those chips and how important it is, not just to us, but to other parts of the world. So they're going to do everything they can to defend Taiwan against China taking over and bringing them back into the Communist Party. But how can you, it's hard to control a person that you're in business with as well. It's hard to control a person that's over here buying farmland close to your Air Force base, and people don't see that as the problem. So I don't know, I really don't have much to say. It's just that all I can say is just watch and pray, because there's a lot of things that's going on that's just wild right now. Like I said, please keep your eye on your kids, because if they can destroy a whole generation of people, which is our young people, if they can destroy them, it would be easy to take over, because who's coming, you know, like once we get older, once we're no longer the forefront of what's going on, who's going to take over if there's no one to pull up behind us? So you got to understand that a war over here with adults, but there's also a war against your kids. It's the same war. China want to take over. And so, well, the devil want to take over. I'm not just going to say China. I know it's not all Chinese people. But the devil works through people. And right now, he's working through the Chinese president, because he's over making deals in Africa. Africa is taking Chinese money because America don't want to deal with Africa. They trying to help build up their infrastructure, but we already know you can't trust China. But I'm just going to basically leave it at that.
Over a 300-acre plot of farmland recently bought by a U.S. company that happens to have some ties to China. The company says it wants to build a corn milling plant, but there's a U.S. Air Force base just 20 minutes away from the farmland in question. The multi-million-dollar development raising some eyebrows all the way back in Washington, D.C. Our Eamon Javers took a closer look.
This is Grand Forks Air Force Base in North Dakota, home of some of the nation's most sensitive technology, including the RQ-4 Global Hawk surveillance drone. And this property sits just about 20 minutes down the road, more than 300 acres of prime farmland. Earlier this year, 3 North Dakotans who owned parcels here sold this land for millions of dollars to a subsidiary of a Chinese company that says it wants to build a corn milling plant.
Now that transaction has come under scrutiny here in Washington, D.C., where some in the intelligence community warn that the deal should be blocked because it could offer Chinese spies unprecedented access to the American base.
It's an only-in-America kind of fight, pitting the property and economic rights of a community against national security warnings from high-ranking officials in the nation's capital. The Chinese company at the heart of the controversy is the Fufeng Group, based in Shandong, China. Its American subsidiary says the company is not a threat.
We're under U.S. laws. I'm an American citizen. I grew up my whole life here, and I'm not going to be doing any type of espionage activities or be associated with a company that does.
The city's mayor says he just wants to do business.
It's a $700 million plant, so that would really be the largest single investment in the city's history. The FBI, didn't say there was any immediate concerns. They said, if you see something, say something.
The Air Force hasn't taken any official position on the Chinese investment, but an Air Force major composed an alarming memo in April obtained by CNBC laying out what he believes to be the intelligence threat. He wrote, "Some of the most sensitive elements of Grand Forks exist with the digital uplinks and downlinks inherent with unmanned air systems and their interaction with space-based assets." The Air Force says Major Jeremy Fox was only speaking for himself, but he's not the only one with security concerns. In a report released May 26th, the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission wrote, "The location of the land close to the base is particularly convenient for monitoring air traffic flows in and out of the base, among other security-related concerns." That's why Senator Kevin Cramer says he opposes the project in his own state, despite the economic benefits it might bring.
I think we grossly appreciate how effective they are at collecting information, collecting data, using it in nefarious ways. And so, yeah, I just as soon not have the Chinese Communist Party doing business in my backyard.
Both the chairman and ranking member of the Senate Intelligence Committee told CNBC they also have concerns about the Chinese development.
Any additional information, I was trying to make sure I put it in the description box. I hope everyone have a great day.